Okay everyone, welcome back to CBD Yoga and Fitness. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Mike. Today is the 5th video in our new off-season yoga for hockey players series. And today's video is going to be a yoga for flexibility sequence. So whether you're a goalie or a player, this is a great sequence to do to improve your flexibility. So when you're ready, roll your mat, grab some water, and let's get started. Okay guys, so we're going to begin the sequence coming into a seated position. Your legs can be crossed, or if you can have one leg in front of the other like I'm doing here. And we're going to take the first minute or so of this sequence just warming up the body, warming up the spine. Throughout this sequence, we're going to be holding the poses a little bit longer than normal, so it's kind of going to be like a yin yoga style sequence. But when you're ready, let's begin. So let's inhale, bring our hands up towards the sky. Exhale, plant the right hand down into the mat in line with the right hip and reach over with that left arm, really feeling a nice stretch on the left side body. Making sure to breathe here. And in this pose, try to make sure both sit bones are firmly rooted in the mat. Take one more breath. Exhale, come back to center. Again, let's inhale, lift both hands up towards the sky. Exhale, plant the left hand down in the mat. Reach over with that right arm, really breathing into the right side body. On your next exhale, come back to center. And again, let's inhale, lift both hands up towards the sky. Exhale, this time twist to your right. So your right hand, right arm comes behind you, acting as a second spine, and your left hand can rest on your right thigh, making sure you avoid the knee. And as you inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, twist. Exhale, come back to center. And again, let's inhale, lift both hands up towards the sky. Exhale, twisting to your left. Left hand, left arm comes behind you. Right hand resting on the left thigh, avoiding the left knee. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist. Exhale, come back to center. From here, let's make our way into all fours. So stacking the hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And in your hands, make sure your fingers are spread wide and your hands are actively pushing into the mat, as well as the tops of the feet. Make sure they're actively pushing into the mat as well. And with your hands, try and imagine like you're twisting open a pickle jar. So you should really feel this engagement in your tricep area, your upper arm. And once we have this nice foundation, let's begin. So let's inhale, drop the belly, open the chest. Exhale, rounding the spine. Inhale, drop the belly, open the chest. Exhale, rounding the spine. So again, just warming up the spine here. Do a few more, moving at your own pace, moving with your breath. Let's do one more. Now from here we'll make our way way into our first pose. So we'll come into a child's pose. So bringing the knees as wide as the mat, the big toes to touch. And we'll extend the arms out long in front of us. The forehead can rest in the mat. And whenever I do like a yin yoga style flow, I really like to practice a 6 and 6 breath. So inhaling for 6 seconds and exhaling for 6 seconds. So feel free to practice that here. And on your next exhale, let's shift forward onto our bellies. We'll come into a Sphinx pose. So stacking the elbows underneath the shoulders, forearms and the hands out in front of you. Opening up the chest, opening up the heart here. You can keep your gaze just down out in front of your hands. And on your next exhale, slowly, mindfully shift it back up into a downward facing dog. Again, keep your fingers spread wide here, hands actively pushing into the mat. And feel free to pedal out your feet here, waking up the backs of your legs, waking up the hamstrings and the calves. Now from here, let's inhale, lift our right leg up towards the sky. Exhale, bend our right knee, step our right foot up in between our hands, lower the left knee down, left shoelaces down. And from here, let's inhale, bring our hands up towards the sky, coming into a nice low lunge. So to find our foundation here, make sure your right knee is stacked over the right ankle and try and keep your hips in one line here. So for a lot of us, this may mean drawing our right hip back and our left hip forward. Great stretch for the hips and the psoas. Keep your core slightly engaged here. We'll hold here for a few breaths. Now from here, imagine your hands are covered in paints. In your next exhale, Paint an imaginary wall down with your hands. Bring your hands down to the mat. And then sliding the hands back, shifting back. Keeping that right foot flexed here. Really breathing into the back of the right leg for a nice runner stretch. Awesome stretch for the hamstrings. If you have a block or a prop, you can rest your right hand on the block here as well. Next exhale, shift forward. From here we'll plant our left hand in the mat and lift our left knee off the ground. And imagine you're pulling a bow and arrow back with your right hand. Reach that right arm up towards the sky. Take a couple breaths here. And on your next exhale, plant that right hand down in the mat. And lower the left knee back down to the mat and shift forward a little bit, just on the area above the left knee. Now from here, bend that left knee, reach back with your right hand and grab hold of that left foot. Feel free to come onto the left fingertips here if that's a little easier. If you can't grab your foot, you can just practice this motion. Awesome quad stretch, probably my favorite quad stretch here. As always, come back to your breath. Exhale, mindfully release that leg back down, plant the hands, and we'll step it back to downward facing dog. When you're ready, let's inhale, lift that left leg up towards the sky. Exhale, bend that left knee, step that left foot up in between the hands. Lower the right knee down, right shoelaces down. And we'll inhale, rise up into a nice low lunge. Again, finding this nice foundation, so left knee over left ankle, keeping the hips in one line here. So on this side, we might have to draw our left hip back and our right hip forward. Arms up towards the sky, core engaged, breathe here. From here, again, imagine your hands are covered in paint. On your next exhale, paint an imaginary wall down with your hands. Bring your hands to the mat, and then slide your hands down, straightening out the left leg, keeping the left foot flexed here. Coming into that runner stretch, really breathing into the back of the left leg. Again, if you have a block or a prop, you can rest your left hand on that here. next exhale, shift back forward. And from here, lift that right knee up off the ground, plant that right hand into the mat, and pretend you're pulling a bow and arrow back with that left hand, reaching that left arm up towards the sky. Breathe. Exhale, plant that left hand down, lower that right knee down to the mat, and shift forward just a little bit, coming onto the area just above that right knee, and then bend that right knee, reach that left hand back, grab hold of that foot if you can. We'll stay here, breathe, really breathing into that right quad. On your next exhale, mindfully, slowly release that leg back down, plant the hands, we'll step it back, downward facing dog. Great job, you guys. From here, let's inhale, lift our right leg up towards the sky. Exhale, bend that right knee, and bring that right knee right behind that right hand here. And walk that left leg out long. We'll come into a pigeon pose. So keeping that right foot flexed here. If you have a block or a prop again, you can place it underneath your right glute if you like. So an awesome stretch in the right hip and right hip flexor here. So a couple options here. If this is enough for you, you can just stay here on your hands or your fingertips. Or if you want a little bit deeper stretch, you can come down onto the forearms. Or maybe you come all the way down here. Wherever you are, just stay there and breathe. Next exhale, slowly, mindfully make your way out of the pose. We'll come back to downward facing dog. And when you're ready on your next inhale, lift that left leg up towards the sky. Exhale, bring that left knee behind the left hand. Walk that right leg out long, keeping that left foot flexed. Again, notice how this side might be a little bit different. Find whichever variation feels nice for you. next exhale and mindfully release. We'll make our way back to down dog. And from here in down dog, let's lower our knees down to the mat. And from here we'll sit up tall. And now from here we'll make our way into a camel pose. So a really awesome back bend here. So let's start by placing our hands on our lower back and just simply rocking back and forth here. My knees always crack when I do this. Now if this is enough for you, you can just stay here doing this. Or if you want to come into the full camel pose, bend back, and then from here you can grab hold of your ankles. And imagine you're holding a fruit in between your chin and your chest. And see if you can push your hips up and forward here. Breathe. And when you're ready to release, bring your hands back to your lower back and rock up. Great job, you guys. From here, we'll make our way onto a seat. And we'll come into Janu Sirsasana, or head to knee pose. So extending, let's start with our right leg. So extending our right leg long, keeping our right foot flexed. Our left foot can come into our right thigh area. And from here, let's inhale with both hands up towards the sky. Exhale, shift a little bit towards that right leg. And then when you're ready, melt down. Again, really breathing into the back of the right leg. And see if you can sink a little deeper with each exhale. Next exhale, slowly release, rise back up, and we'll take it over to the other side. So extending that left leg long, bringing that right foot into the left thigh, keeping that left foot flexed. Inhale with both hands up towards the sky. Exhale, shift towards that left leg, and then exhale, melt down. And then on your next exhale, slowly roll it back up. From here, we'll do both legs. So extending both legs out long, keeping the legs together here, keeping both feet flexed. We'll inhale, bring our hands up towards the sky. And exhale, melt forward. Again, come back to your breath and see if you can sink a little bit deeper with each exhale. And then exhale, release, roll it back up. From here, we'll make our way onto our backs. Now from here on our backs, keep the soles of the feet planted in the mat, and we'll make our way into a bridge pose. So when you're ready, let's inhale, shift our hips up towards the sky. Imagine an imaginary block in between your knees here, or if you have a block, you can place it in between your knees. Shimmy the shoulders underneath you, clasp the hands together, and we'll breathe here. From here, let's inhale, lift our hands up towards the sky, come up onto the tippy toes, and then exhale, slowly lower the spine back to the mat. And from here, bring our feet as wide as the mat and let the knees knock in towards each other. Coming into a brief constructive rest. One hand can be in your heart, the other on your belly. And then from here, let's come back to center. So bring the feet back where they were. And from here, let's lift the hips up just slightly and place our hands underneath our tailbone, our sacrum area, and extend the feet and the legs out long, keeping the feet flexed here. Let's shimmy the shoulders underneath us once again. And let's inhale, lift our chest up, and try and keep the majority of the weight here in your forearms. And from here, let's bend our head back, letting the crown of the head hover off the mat, or it can come down to the mat. But just make sure you keep the majority of the weight in your forearms here. Coming into a fish pose. Make sure to breathe. Your next exhale, lift back up and then slowly release. From here, we'll make our way into a supine twist. So let's start with our right leg, hugging our right knee in towards our chest, keeping that left leg extended long. From here, when you're ready, we'll guide our right knee over to our left side. Our arms can come into a T or cactus-shaped arms. And in this pose, try and really make sure both shoulders are rooted in the mat. So if you're like this and your right shoulder is coming up off the mat. See if you can dial it back a little bit to get both shoulders in the mat here. As always, come back to your breath. On your next exhale, come back to center. Extend that right leg long. Hug our left knee into our chest. When you're ready, guide that left knee over to the right side. Again, arms in a T or cactus arms. And again, make sure both shoulders are firmly rooted in the mat here. Exhale, let's bring it back to center. From here, let's bring the soles of the feet together, coming into a reclined butterfly pose, opening up the hips here. Your hands can rest down by your sides or on your hearts, or you can have one hand on your heart, the other on your belly. I encourage you to stay here in this reclined butterfly, or you can make your way into Shavasana here if you like, or if you want to, you can rock up into a seated position of your choice. From here, let's bring our hands together at our heart. Thank you all so much for sharing your time and your energy with me today. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to get one of these off-season yoga shirts, I'll include the link down below. From here, let's bring our hands up to our third eye. Again, thank you for sharing your time and your energy with me. Namaste.